Hello, I'm Sharon Benjamin. Welcome to another edition of Leafless, Not Lifeless. As I said, I'm Sharon Benjamin. I'm your host. And I make it a point to talk to people who seem to have been leafless, but they're actually growing and developing. As you can see, the trees behind me. And I also talk to people who help others to realize their dreams because sometimes people don't understand and don't know that they have certain things in them. So my guest today, Andrea Kirby, is one of those people who is presenting and giving and doing so many things to help other people know their potential. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Pleasure to meet you all.
Yes, yes, so wonderful to see you. So Andrea, you started a program or ministry. You can tell me the correct definition. Uh, Poised for purpose. So first of all, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Andrea Kirby, and I am the founder of Poised with Purpose Co. This is a faith-based platform in small business where I encourage, uplift, and educate through literacy. I teach on etiquette, I teach on styling and faith series, and many other different things that are a part of my background. I am a professional model as well. I go to different schools and do guest speaking. My degree is in cinematic arts, film, and video, and I love writing and reading and just reaching out to the community. So that's what Poise with Purpose Co is all about.
That's awesome. I love that. And you're multifaceted. But as we continue to talk, the guests will see how you make a connection with the different entities of Andrea. So how did you come up with that idea and why did you come up with Poise for Purpose?
Well, actually, it was interesting. So in 2020, when everything pretty much shut down, I was just graduating from college and I didn't know what was going to happen. And I had seen a vision in my dream that was from God, and He showed me the colors and the name that it would be. And so growing up, I was always told, "Oh, you're so poised. You're so poised." And I was like, "What does that mean?" And then when it came back up later in my life, it just all made so much sense. So my tagline is a seed of poise planted on purpose because I just believe everyone has a specific purpose here on earth. And right now, this is where God has me, and it's called Poise with Purpose Co. So I'm that name just kind of speaks for itself.
That's awesome. And I love the different things that you do. And I'm going to try to share your graphic here, part of it anyway. So there we have it. And as I was looking through your information and seeing the different things that you're doing, I thought, oh, this is wonderful. I love the idea of the femininity and all of the cutesy, flowery, different things, which unfortunately in some areas has been lost. So how are you using what you have? How are you using your platform to help people to know that it's not completely lost and that it really is important?
Well, for me, it all starts with the word and what God says about women. And just starting there because that is the foundation and that is the root, and my faith is everything to me, and my faith in Jesus Christ. So starting there is where everything starts, and because He gave me this platform, all glory to Him. But when it comes to talking about femininity and having etiquette and having integrity and things like that and teaching people different words for the vocabulary, I find it extremely important because especially in our communities as Black women, we just see a lot of it being lost, but it's not really lost. People just need the extra assistance. They need the encouragement. They need to know because some people just don't know. They may not have been raised to learn certain things. They might not even have had that kind of figure or inspirational person in their life to show them. So with my platform, I just want everyone to know that no matter what walk of life you come from, you're still welcome, and you can still exude your femininity while also having intellectual conversations and being intelligent. So we can do that all.
It's interesting you mentioned, just the different backgrounds, but something I've noticed, and perhaps you have as well, even little girls, and when you don't have to tell them certain things. You don't have to tell them how to walk necessarily. And at some point, for whatever reason, some of that might get lost. But my husband and I were visiting a friend a few years past, and the granddaughter had gotten dressed for church. She must have been maybe 4 or 5, and coming down the stairs, looking like that scene from Going with the Wind. like, am I pretty? So at some point there may be traumas or situations in their lives where somehow or another that gets in the back of their minds. So what is it that you do to help women understand that it is still there? It's not really lost. Maybe for whatever reason, it's not activated.
Yeah, so when I do guest speaking events, whether that's at an elementary school level or at a high school level, I talk to everyone pretty much. It doesn't matter what their gender is. But when I do speak to the women, I want them to know like it's not about your outward appearance. It's not about, where you've come from. I mean, that has a big impact on who you are, but that doesn't define who you are. So you still can feel empowered to know that, because of who God created me to be, I am beautiful. I am smart. I am capable. I can aspire to do these things. I can reach for the sky and float among the stars and still have a purpose in my life. And I have different series on my channel that talks about such things. I have a word of the day series where I just teach different vocabulary if people want to learn how to speak in a certain way that helps them in whatever avenue they're going. I also teach on etiquette, just the basic manners, not the things that people think, oh, I have to be completely prudent and just, stuck in, I can't do these things or have fun. No, you can have fun with it. It's a courtesy. It's about having basic manners and respect for other people. And then I have my faith series where I just talk about real testimonies, and everybody that walks around has a real testimony and it's ongoing in their life. So with the women, I like to make sure that people can see someone, not only someone that looks like them, being a Black woman in the industry, but also someone that has been through different things, has gone through different phases, but has come out of it and is still learning myself. So I really try to relate with others with things that they've gone through with their testimonies when it comes to exuding those things.
That's awesome. So as we scroll through your graphic here, tell us about your vlog.
So in this vlog here, it is a small business vlog. It is my very first one. I don't typically vlog on my channel. I think one of my first vlogs was actually my Motown vlog, but in this one here, I'm sharing about my business because like I said, Poised with Purpose Co. did start out as a small business, and then it grew into a platform where I have branched out onto YouTube and onto Etsy shops, and I do different things such as that. But here in this vlog, I'm just sharing how I restock my supplies, how I pick the colors for my business, packaging orders up, and where I do those things because it all comes from home and I just do everything from home. So I think it's interesting for people to see and get to know who they are buying things from, whether that be journals and prayer cards, but seeing the behind the scenes of it.
Are you deliberate in your colors?
I am. So it's funny because if anyone were to ask me, what is your favorite color? I can't ask them now. I can't even answer that because I have so many different colors that I love. I specifically love pastels, but within the color palette for Poise with Purpose Co., you will see white. You will see that green color in my logo. You will see different variations of that green. You will see gold because typically in my backdrops, if you scroll further down, you'll see in the etiquette series, I have a gold backdrop that I use as well. So I am pretty particular, but there aren't too many colors that I won't utilize.
Okay. So is this one of your journals?
It is. This is a part of my new collection. It is the Ballerinas and Bows collection. I write all of the poetry, and then sometimes I will commission an artist to do some of the graphics. So if you see the ballerina there, a friend of mine that I went to college with, Michaela James, she actually illustrated the ballerina for me. And coming from my dance background, this was really important to have a ballerina journal.
Excellent. So what do you feel is the most impactful aspect of what you're doing right now?
Honestly, I feel as though building the community and being able to speak to people. So when I have guest speaking events and I get to speak to people and uplift and encourage them, it's impactful for me because I get to learn from other people, but also it's not just about me. It's about what do other people need? How can I be encouraging to them? How can I be a vessel of Christ when it comes to my business? And so, of course, I love when I can make a sale or when I can make a video that gets 100 views or whatever. But I think what's most important is really the outreach portion of going into the community and speaking to the people, because God called us to have community and to uplift one another. And that's the most important thing to me.
So it sounds as if you are deliberate in something that is taught in speech. You know to read your audience and understand
Mhm.
so that you can speak to them and with them. I should say, I guess, not because people don't really want to be spoken to, if you understand what I mean,
Mhm.
necessarily, but they want to know what you're going to, how you're going to bring them or help them to get from one point to the next. So it sounds as
Exactly.
if that's what you do.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's important, just, my most recent guest speaking event was at an elementary school, and I try to make it engaging so that I'm not talking to them, but they're also talking to me, and I'm learning and asking questions and making it more of a community-based engagement kind of presentation, so that people feel like I have a voice, I can share what I'm interested in, and I can learn from them as well.
The age group that you usually speak to or the grades, how do you, do you go as low as K or what is the general age group?
Yeah, it's K through 12. I've also spoken to college students as well, but it's typically K through 12. And when I get asked to come speak at the high schools or the elementary schools, I do like to differ the content just a little bit because of them
Right,
being minors, of course, and
exactly.
having to have a more simplified vocabulary for the elementary school students. But yeah, typically it's K through 12.
And we have, my husband and I have two granddaughters, 5 and 7 will be soon. And it's interesting that when they see something pretty, their responses. So how are the little girls when you go into the lower grades? How are they?
It's so fun. It's really fun, and it's wonderful as well, because I also have been a teacher. So I used to teach in a middle school, and it's wonderful because I like to see how they interact with one another, but then when they see someone that they're not used to, they just have so many questions. And I love just hearing how their minds work and their imagination and everything. And the little girls get so inspired to be more confident, or to exude their femininity, or to not be afraid to speak their mind and to just have questions and to share their interests. So it's really fun to see them just light up.
Yes. So how do you compare when you're speaking to them as opposed to or compared to when you're speaking to middle school students? Because that's the age where they are starting to figure out or think about whether or not they want to be like somebody else or do what someone else is doing. How are they in terms of responding to your questions or to any engagement that you present to them?
It's different. I think that when it comes to elementary school, they're just kind of beady-eyed, like, I'm so excited to just learn and have all these questions. They've got that energy. Middle school is that age where they're, coming from elementary school, but trying to transition into their young adulthood, so to speak. So it can be a little bit difficult to pull those things out of them. So there's a different kind of patience. Now, the younger children, you definitely have to have patience for their energy. But
Yeah.
for the middle schoolers, it's more like they're going through different hormones, and they have different things that are happening in their lives that they're not used to. So coming down to their level and saying, hey, I've been there. I've been that age before. Let's relate. What are you going through, and how can I encourage you? So it's a little bit different. And then going into high school,
Yes,
it's about keeping their attention, because a lot of the times they just want to be done with school and just leave and go about their business. So it's different.
exactly. You have a spring dress line.
I don't have a spring dress line. So what I do actually is I work with different brands that may send me clothing, or they want to work with me. And I share different dresses and inspiration for outfits. So that's just something that I like to do. My most recent lookbook is a spring dress lookbook here. And I just like to share inspiration for people when they feel as though, maybe I'm too short, I'm too small, or I don't have this kind of look about myself. How could I style an outfit and feel feminine? Because you typically see other ethnicities that like to dress very feminine. And for some reason in the Black community, we get a stereotype that we can't also dress that way, or that we're trying to be somebody else, when really you're just being who you are. And you can also be feminine and enjoy long, frilly, beautiful dresses as well. So I like to share that inspiration on here.
So what has been the reception or to the book? Have you noticed the reception to?
Yeah, so I think that you can see it kind of in the views when you look at the analytics on my channel. You can see what people are interested in. But I
Yes.
also create, pardon,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry. I also create the YouTube shorts. And so people like to see different variations of dresses, but they also will request, hey, can you style this? Or can you show me how you do your hair when you wear this kind of outfit? So I think people really enjoy the lookbooks.
That's wonderful. And I did watch some on your YouTube, and I love the presentation and just seeing it. It looks joyful and exciting.
Thank
So
you.
I'm thinking that's really what you want to exude, correct?
100%. I mean, one of my journals is actually based on the fruits of the spirit, Galatians 5:22 through 23. And it says to have joy, right? So I just want to share that, even though I talk about real things like etiquette and literacy and the faith series, that you can also have fun and be joyful as well. So I really like to exude that and to also be somewhat entertaining because I don't take myself seriously. So it's okay to laugh at yourself.
Exactly. Now, and looking at your site and looking at some of the videos and thinking about, I grew up in a very um, strict Pentecostal uh, organization. So women weren't supposed to look pretty,
Okay.
weren't supposed to, make themselves look good. So here you're, and I that has changed. Things are changing. So your platform here is really helping people across the board.
I would hope so. I really have been on a modesty journey, and it's different for people like myself that grew up modeling and dancing and in the entertainment industry. And once you feel that conviction in your heart about the things that the Holy Spirit is telling you to change, I still want to be presentable and look nice, but how am I reflecting the kingdom of Christ? That's what matters the most to me. And I really do love being able to dress up and everything like that. And I think it's inspirational for so many people, and I get inspired as well. But it isn't the most important thing, but it does add a little bit of something to it.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I think it helps people who may have come from a similar background as mine, or not even, as you mentioned earlier, having certain influences to help them to know you can look beautiful without looking, how should I say it? You can look beautiful without looking as if, you're hanging on the corner. Um,
Yes.
You can do that. So tell us about this etiquette booklet here, or book.
Sure. So I have an etiquette series, and I just teach on basic manners and different tips and whatnot. So what you see here is the interview etiquette, and I had a lot of requests on this specifically because when the times are changing, and you might have an interview that is in person, you might have one that's on the phone, you might have one like similar to the Zoom call that we're in right now. And so a lot of people just were wondering, what are the different kinds of etiquette tips you can share when it comes to virtual interviews in comparison to the ones in person? So here I'm teaching about, as you see, punctuality and grooming and speech and what to do when you ask for references, how to develop your resume. And the book I'm holding here is Emily Post's etiquette book, which is the one that I like to reference. So that's what I like to share on here. And I think it's really important.
That's wonderful, because there have been stories, and we've seen different things of how people actually present themselves during the Zooms or the webinars or the WebEx. So that's really important. And sometimes people, when we were all shut down, might not have thought that was important. And I did a lot of teaching during, we were remote, of course, and just seeing how some of the students came to class. So this is
Mhm.
very important. I think more and more people are probably gravitating to this in terms of the etiquette for presentations online,
I
because
agree.
initially it was just simply, okay, let me just get up and get on my camera.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
wonderful. So so people can contact you. You have a online shop, and tell us all about everything where people can come to see you and get inspiration, get your products.
Sure, of course. I don't know if that's actually a link. If you click onto that, you might be able to get to my shop. That might better show. I'm not sure. If
Let,
not, that's all right. So
let's see,
that's going to be, pardon?
let's see what happens.
Yes.
Oh, good. Awesome.
So that's going to be my Etsy shop, and I sell different things, journals, stationery, prayer cards. Again, I write all of the poetry on here. I have some jewelry and bracelets and things like that. And so I think the most uh, popular thing that I sell are my journals, and I have different kinds. And my very first journal I ever created was the 𝑠𝑒 Poised journal, which is that gingham one at the bottom. And I create prayer cards that are based off of scripture and just different kinds of prayer cards, whether that's the spiritual gifts or the prayer card for kindness. So everything I do is faith-based. Everything is uplifting and encouraging, from the journals to the prayer cards, and everything has a meaning to it. So that's what it is with my shop. And my newest collection, again, is the Ballerinas and Bows collection with different variations of colors there. And then if you want to contact me, you can go to my email, and that's going to be poisewithpurpose.co@gmail.com if you have any questions or would like to collaborate or anything like that, any inquiries. And then, of course, my YouTube channel I also have. And I even have a Pinterest board where I share other inspiration and encouraging things as well.
That's wonderful. I am so excited, and I've been enjoying, as I said, looking at some of your material online and gaining inspiration as well. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Andrea Kirby, for being with me today on Leafless, Not Lifeless. And I am just looking forward to the next. So tell us, what is next?
What's next for Poise with Purpose Co?
Yeah.
Well, of course, I have this wonderful opportunity to share and speak with you. So it's been lovely and it's a pleasure. And I can't wait to learn more about you as well. But what's next for Poise with Purpose Co? I'm just creating more collections. I have a couple more guest speaking engagements coming up. So you'll be able to look forward to that on my YouTube channel. I also will be sharing some more of the modeling content because a lot of people have questions about someone as myself being 5'2", not the typical height for a runway model. And so I like to share that inspiration as well because you can model at any height and any size. And I really want people to know that, because I'm short doesn't mean I can't also model. So you'll be able to see that content very, very soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Again, I'm Sharon Benjamin, host of Leafless, Not Lifeless. And you can go to Andrea's website, go to her shop, and get some inspiration, get the products, get some inspiration, and just keep growing. Andrea, again, thank you so much for being
Thank
with
you. It's been a
me.
pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Again, if you have a story that you would like to share, you may contact me at leaflessnotlifeless@gmail.com, leaflessnotlifeless@gmail.com. Again, thank you for watching and listening.